Hey folks, this is Expressman, and we are back for this part 3 of Getting Started in Space Engineers, winter of 2020. Yep, Keen dropped an update for us a couple weeks ago, so wouldn't you know it, it's time to redo all of our Getting Started videos. So here's my astronaut. So very space. All right. So I did a bunch of mining while you were gone. I guess fog rolled in. It feels like a dust storm, but my wind turbine's running slowly. So, um, I did a bunch of mining. Notice I'm just building a bunch of stuff. I just kind of ordered a bunch of everything, based roughly on how much I think I'm going to need it. Notice though here I've got steel, and then motors, and then comp, and then computer chip things, and interior plate, and girder, and solar panel, and then I ordered more steel plate, and then I was like, oh yeah, and I need to order a couple of these display panels. But I don't want to wait till after the 500 steel. I might not even have enough. I do have quite a bit of iron, but I might not have enough iron to do all that. So I can just literally drag this forward and move it up in the queue, and it bumps everything else back. And so it's doing that. It's making all of those things. We had quite a bit of iron, although we're also consuming quite a bit of iron going through all that. So I was hoping I was done with mining. So mining dirt is highly inefficient, as it should be. It's just dirt, and it creates a lot of that gravel, which is essentially waste. You do need gravel to make glass, but by and large, gravel is a useless byproduct. So you end up throwing a lot of it away. What we want to get to is mining actual, iron, actual nickel. Then we don't have all that wasteful byproduct, and it's all just kind of faster because it's the good stuff. Let me see. Do we have that anything in our G menu? We do. We still have the basic refinery in our build planner. So let me grab the welding torch. I will middle click, and it says all components were successfully withdrawn. We like to see that. That is a good sign. I'm just going to kind of run over here and then weld this guy up. 100%. Sweet. All right, we are in business. If I don't like this doing this in bad weather. If you remember, we marked where is it? A little iron node over here, just a little asteroid. So I'm going to fly over here. And thankfully we have that GPS mark because visibility is a bit, reduced. Yep, see that. And then I'm going to come to the uphill side because I don't want it rolling away from me. And I'm just going to start, you know what? I'm going to do, remember I told you that right click deletes material? I'm going to do the right click thing briefly here. Yeah, see, there's a little iron right there, but more right click here. There, now we're starting to get to the iron proper. So now I'm going to do left click, and I'll still end up picking up dirt, but I'll get a lot of iron too. Again, kind of holding F for efficiency of, you don't get all of it, but you get a lot of it. Sometimes for positioning, you do want to hit crouch. Just kind of gets you in there. Now, on a lot of servers, shared servers, you'll see the rock deleting itself really fast. That happens less on private sessions. That's the server sort of trying to protect its memory. It's not actually a bug, it's a feature. Kind of feels like a bug. But that is something you'll often see. Maybe you'll mine some, and there'll be like a lot of excess rock floating around, then you'll fly back to make a delivery, and then you come back and it's gone. You're like, wait, where's all this precious rock that I just mined? And it's gone. It is well and truly gone. Where is our... I mentioned unknown signals before. Here, it's not far. Let's just... Well, I have a full inventory, so we can't do much with it. Where is our spawn ship? Oh, it's over here. We probably should set a GPS location just for home, but I'm not going very far yet. So now we can go up to this. Again, doesn't matter which side. Hit I. And drop in our iron and stone. And why isn't it? It should automatically be turning it into ingots. So let's get to the bottom of that. Do we not have enough power? Oh, I hear it. It's doing it now. That was a delay. Interesting. On that power thing, power management is important. If it was really struggling, you'd kind of hear it surging a little bit. But if we go to control panel, we can see we have basic refinery selected here on the side, so we know that's what we're dealing with. And if we go to this side, again, that's my semi-transparency thing. Sorry about that. It says right here, basic refinery, max required input 330 kilowatts, max required input 330 kilowatts, productivity 100%, effectiveness, power efficiency 100%. So it should be taking the full 330 kilowatts. Remember I told you anything with a blue panel gives us access to see what's going on. There's a blue panel, but also this works too. So I'm going to press K on that, gets us right back where we were. And if I click on wind turbine, you can see wind turbine max output 407, current output 330. So it's generating 400 and it's bouncing around, 18 kilowatts of power, but 330 of that is being used by the refinery, as we just saw, and it says wind clearance optimal. So we're generating enough to power the refinery, but not a lot extra. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, when we build our assembler, this is going to become an issue. We pretty much need to be building a battery as soon as possible, but we don't actually have the ability to build a battery until we have the basic assembler built. So that is our next demanding task right now. Hopefully, let's just check on our survivor kit building right now, but it's already stopped. It didn't even get through all the iron. Fantastic. I really thought we were going to avoid this. One thing we could do, it's a little janky, but we know where, you want to know where a bunch of iron is right now? Yeah, look at, there's 2,000. 2,000. The most I even got was just under 1,000 in this between videos when I was working on it. So we actually could run over here and dump the ingot in here, and it will continue the production. That's one way to work it. I really don't want to mine dirt anymore. That's kind of the goal here. What I can do is, well, I'm going to need silicon. I don't need my light on. I'm going to need silicon. I'm going to need nickel. Not in that order. I need. Oh, the other thing we're going to do, by the way, is start grinding this thing down. So these engines have, atmospheric engines have a lot of good material in them. So we can just take those down. All these little parts are made out of single pieces of. We don't hurt that. Single pieces of steel. It's kind of tedious. But we can fly up here, land on the roof. We can take out the antenna. Don't need that. We can take out the ore detector. Don't need that. We can take out the parachute. Come on, I need to crouch. There we go. Don't need that. We can come over here. I'm just going to grind a few of these out just to make it easier to get to this stuff. We can take out the landing gear, or at least most of the landing gear. That actually has quite a bit of material in it. I'll leave the back one. Yeah. Suit's low. Yeah, the grinder, by the way, and the welder take a lot of juice. Don't want to hurt that battery. We would be in a lot of trouble if we hurt that battery. Speaking of which, let's get charged up. Really always look forward to when I get either the cryo chamber or the med bay, because this part is a lot faster. All right. We can grind out the chair. It has a lot of good stuff too. By the way, when you grind something that has an inventory in it, it'll just straight up drop the inventory, hence the data pad. I can just press F and get that. Here is the guts, by the way, if you want to know what's inside. So as a reminder, there's our battery. We saw that on the outside. That is our O2H2 generator. We also saw that on the outside. This is a little section of small grid conveyor that is attaching to what's right behind here. You can't see is the survival kit. So that's what gets our hydrogen and oxygen to the survival kit. This is a beacon we don't need at all. Carefully grind that out. Now we can start to see, now this is a conveyor tube that was going up to the parachute. This is a timer block, we don't need that. This is a piece of conveyor that we don't need. That is a thruster, that's great material. This is a small container. Let me press I on that and see what's in it. Yeah, it's empty. I'm not sure what it had. Maybe theoretically you could put canvas in for more parachutes. So now you can really see what's going on here. There's the battery, there's the survival kit, there's 2 sections of small conveyor connecting to the H2O2 generator. And that is basically it. That's what this thing is, and that's what it needs to be for us right now. The rest of it is just a shell. So let's place, do I have iron on me? Oh, I do, of course. I've been grinding all this stuff. It's great. I've got all this stuff now. We need to place the basic assembler. If you remember right, we put the gun over the top of the thing, and then so we cover the base assembler with the basic. So we need to hit the G menu and get back to basic assembler, which, do I see it? Do I see it? Do I see it? Do I see it? No, I don't see it. So let's go to production blocks. Yeah. And there's basic assembler. Let's drag that down. I'll do it over the solar panel. I'm not going to build any solar panels. Solar panels are great in space, particularly when you can mechanize them so that they follow the sun constantly. But on planets, yeah, some people like them. I don't. So basic assemblers are evil because they literally only have on all of their sides one, and I mean only one port. But this is a great time to learn something, which is rotating. So if I just hit 3, or actually I think arrow key does it too. Maybe it doesn't. There's another key that does this, but I use the numpad, and if I hit 3 on the numpad, it rotates it that way. So you can see right now the connector is facing me. If I hit it once, we know it's facing to, it's opposite to you. We know it's facing to the right. If we hit it one more, we know it's facing away from us, thus connected to the basic assembler. So I'm going to click, grab my welder, and it is not in my thing, so I'm going to right click. It's in the build planner. I can actually, I think I can like start to build it with the materials I have, and it's smart enough to remove those from the build planner. Let's come over here, center click on that. We can't withdraw a couple things, but we're going to do this in stages and see what we need. Oh, we're just short of functional. We just need, it looks like 3 display, and we need some computer. Let's hit the banner. Okay, 4 display. Still not make it. Okay. Let's go to production, and let's drag that to the back. There's the computer. Let's drag the display up to there. We'll sort of load this thing based on what we need coming up sooner. So there's the computer and the display that we're going to need. You know what? Since we have a minute to wait, I'll go ahead and use that minute to revisit our iron node. Or, you know what? Let's see. We have these these silicon nodes too. Let's just hit a silicon node. It's something we're going to need to, although we really need nickel. Okay, right click. I'm going to be a little extra abusive with my right click because silicon is so abundant. And now I'm left click mining. By the way, different things refine at different speeds. So iron refines rather quickly. Dirt, rock refines super fast. Silicon refines slower. Certain particularly precious things like oops, we hit our max here. It makes so much noise I didn't hear the computer say inventory full. Where's our base? There it is. Like magnesium, super slow. Of course, uranium, plutonium, very slow. Cobalt, really slow. So you got to keep that in mind too. Let's go ahead and press I because I don't want to dump everything. I'll dump the silicon. I'll dump the stone. It'll process the stone too. It's got some nickel in there, probably from the other stone that I dropped in there. All right, let's go see what's happening over here with middle click, cannot withdraw 8 comp. Well, we're close. That's good. I think we're functional. Yeah, boy. We are 100% functional because of the components I had. I'm going to hit G menu real quick, clear that thing off the build planner because we're done. All right, so we have it a basic assembler now. If I come up here and kind of do my blue panel here, I'll press K. And if I actually go to production, you see quite a few more options under production that we didn't have before. And you can see basic assembler being the only assembly machine in this grid is automatically selected. All right, so we have additional things. We have bulletproof glass. We have canvas. We have, what else did we get new? Detector comp. That's great. What else do we get new? Metal grid, super important. That's why we need cobalt. I haven't seen cobalt yet. That's concerning. A lack of cobalt and a lack of iron makes this area actually pretty down on undesirable for me. We can build magazines now. Although I don't think we can refine magnesium power. Maybe we can. But super importantly, the whole reason that we built this is we can now build power cells. It's also nice that we get radio comp and small tube, but power cells is super important. As you can see, we need iron, silicon, and nickel, which, hey, they're the most basic things, except for the fact I have trouble finding iron. But so we're going to do that. I need to get more nickel, though. So let's hit a nickel mine. Oh, I weigh a lot right now. What can I do? It's just stuff. I really need to build a storage container. I don't even think I can pitch this into my... You know what I could do? Remember hitting the square thing to open up all of the grid stuff? I think I can drop some of this in the assembler. Yeah. So metal grid's super heavy and large steel tube is super heavy. Just dropping those two things alone will probably make a very dramatic difference. Let's see. Yeah, it helped a lot. So now, let's see. I got all my GPS points. That's ice. That is silicon magnesium. Silicon nickel magnesium. So let's go to this one. And let's land here and grab our drill. And what is here? There's silicon and there's nickel. 15, 14, 13, 12, 12, 7, 12. Okay, 12, 7. That's as close as we're getting. Kneel, right? So this is how I typically start a true mineral mine. I kneel, and at the shortest point, I will right click drill down. So this is just blowing away material. I don't need the dirt. And I keep going and I keep going. You turn on the lights if you need to. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and there it is. Now I'll switch to right click drilling and keep going down because I want to be able to stand up basically. And whoops, I forgot to hit F. I'm trying to kind of get, it's going to be a layer. The layer thicknesses vary. Sometimes they're awesome thick. Sometimes they're pretty thin. I'm guessing this one's going to be average. Let me turn my light on and see what's going on here. It actually looks pretty good. All right, let's see. And then I'm actually going to stand up and just start drilling into the walls at this point. Still holding F to pick stuff up. Still going to miss some of it. Oh, crouches, I need to crouch. I'm still getting a little dirt here. Crouch a little bit, grab some stuff off the bottom. I like to try to keep the bottom just a little deeper so that things keep, excess things just keep sliding to the bottom. So we're full. Let's get out of here. Let's worry about suit energy. We are churning through the battery in our drop pod. Again, another reason a battery is a priority of mine. This will create a problem because we will have both a refinery and an assembler and a battery all trying to drink power from our one wind turbine. So as soon as we make the battery, the priority will be to make several more wind turbines, because we really want to get positive flow into that battery. As I'm just sitting here charging forever. As you can see, we're above 50%, but less than 75% on our ship battery. Looks like it's spinning pretty good. Okay, so we need to deposit this nickel, and it's still actually processing that silicon. Silicon does take a little more time. I'll queue it after the stone because the stone's going to take like 6 seconds. I could even rush it, pull the silicon to the back, and now it'll process the stone in more like 12 seconds. And now it's chewing on the nickel. Now I could tell the assembler to start assembling right now, except again, we have a power problem. So I'm just going to give the refinery a minute to chew on this, and I'll shut it down, or it'll stop because it's empty. Nickel's a little slower than iron too, but it's still pretty fast. So what do we got going here? We can start prepping, I suppose, while we're killing a minute. If I hit I can see I still have 93 steel and quite a few other components. So I'm going to press 5, and I'm going to fly. And we're going to start making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's the right amount. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually my clanmates that usually handle this. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to do this. This may be non-optimal, but my goal is always to get to nuclear power. 4, 5. That's the big goal. All right, and now if I go 7. Whoop, I told you it's fussy about where you stand. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and now we grab the welder, and I can just right click 4 times if I wanted to, but I'm going to right click once and just get going here. Let's see how much of that we can get from the respawn pod. Center click, we're just short 20 comp. What is it making right now? Press I and check in on that. It's making steel. I'm going to bump comp up because that was the one thing we were lacking. $12 comp. You can just sit here and keep popping the middle button. 9 comp. 6 comp. All components. So now we go up here. Weld it up. It can't hurt you. So like you're like, whoa, I'm standing really close. Yeah, it doesn't hurt you. So now we're already in a situation where we can power the assembler, which is great news. So I'm going to access the assembler just simply through this. It's just convenient. Press K. And yeah, it's telling us that, hey, you have some incomplete wind turbines in the grid. Well, that's fine. We will finish those later. Right now, we need to focus on the fact that we need batteries. And if I remember right, batteries require, they're not even on the G menu. So here's another thing about the G menu. You don't have one bar that's 1 through 9. You have 9 bars that are 1 through 9. So if I hit Control 2, oh, that's Control 1. Control 2, you see right there, it's blank, and that little 2 there is highlighted. That's because that's bar 2. I could do Control 3, Control 4, Control 5. Eventually, you will fill these up and actually wish you had more. Control 1 to get back to the first one. So if I go to Control 2, I can then hit G. You can still hit Control 2 after you hit G. It still works. And let's go to all blocks. I believe they prioritize battery in all blocks, or maybe I'm just completely wrong. I don't understand what they're thinking when they organize this. So let's see, power block, and let's grab large battery and drag that down into our G menu. And now, since we're hovering over it, we can see the list of requirements right there. And what I really want to see, because the other stuff is standard, is power cell, and it says 80. So it takes 80 power cell for one. So we'll come back here. I'll hit I should have hit K, whatever. Let's go to production, and we want 80. So I could press Control 8 times for exactly 80. I could press, Shift for 100, have a little extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It sometimes takes a minute for it to pipe in the things that it needs. That's why there was a slight delay there. But now it's going, and should have a good amount of power. Once we build the battery, that's going to change, because the battery is going to be really thirsty and we're going to try to drink up as much power as possible. So then we'll be back to building wind turbines again. Cool. So that be happening. I wonder if we can just build a Control 1 to get to my menu, 1 to get to the welder. Let's fly up here, and we will do a right click, build planner, go back to our middle click, all components. Hey, 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 hey. Anticipation. All right, we have 3 wind turbines going. Now, they are wasting a lot of power at this point. However, that will change shortly when we get our battery. What are we at? 38. It's just about halfway. We will need more steel plate, I believe. Yeah. That's cool. At some point, we'll get the other 2 turbines done up. That should put us on a good track for charging the battery. If you do feel any sort of threat, either from NPC ships or PvP players on your particular server, you probably also want to prioritize. Oh, hopefully you found iron more easily than I did. But you probably want to prioritize welding those sections up in front of us, because again, they are pretty much unlimited in their strength, but they are really brittle. Like if I shot them probably one time with my automatic gun, the whole thing would just come crumbling down and be really sad. Or if anything happened, it would. It's a vulnerable place to be. Okay, so welding that up, we will do that eventually. But if you're in a situation where you think that there's anything can happen to that, first of all, at a minimum, just run 2 or 3 stacks of stuff vertically, or just start welding it up. Oh, all right, we're up to 80. Let's see how close we can come on the battery. So I'm going to Control 2, press 1, hold that there. What is it? Shift middle click. Build plan. It's doing that build planner's empty thing again. Oh, just middle click. Cannot withdraw 20 plate, 10 comp, 21 power cells. Oh, I maxed out. That's why. So I'm going to place my battery here and weld what I can. It needs power cells, all of them, to be functional. It's non-negotiable. Middle click again. I did pick up the power cells. It's actually functional right now. It can charge, which is great. We may actually get into a power problem here in just a second. But let me see. Let me middle click. So we need comp, computers, and 80 other components. What is it even talking about? Let's just see how much of it we can pick up from this. Oh, we're just short 9 computers. Hey, can I just order those here? Production. Oh, look, that's the only thing it'll let me order. Okay, 1,000 was silly, but it built 1. All right, fine, whatever. You're so funny. Let's get over here. We should weld this up the rest of the way. It just needs more computers, and it's good. So I'm actually going to go to, whoops, G, and then knock that off in my build planner. And we're good. I'll just order some computers up here. Production. Let's get 100 computers ordered up. That's not a lot, but it will get things started. Okay, so we have nickel and silicon being refined. I should have looked at that while I was in there. You can see it's still churning through the nickel. Didn't get quite through half of it yet. But we're still in a good place with iron at the moment. That won't last super long. So this was like the first objective. We have a power grid with a basic assembler, a basic refinery, and a battery. And actually, if we look at this battery, this is kind of important. You can see it's got its own blue panels. We could do this anywhere in the entire grid, but let me press K here. The advantage of direct accessing it directly is that it starts at the right place in the control panel versus clicking around to find it. So anyway, battery, super important here. We have our max output 12, max required 12, max stored power 3 megawatt hours. Completely full, I don't know what completely full is actually on a vanilla battery. Current input is 1.24 megawatts. Current output is 331 kilowatts. Stored power 924 kilowatt hours, and that is going up very slowly, fully recharged in 2 hours. We want it to recharge faster than that. Batteries are pretty great because they're literal capacitors. They will help like surges in power if you have a lot of machines and eventually vehicles and ships trying to tap out of them. So they're definitely something you want to maintain and be good to. The next thing we need to do, now I'm looking at this, is we need to build the storage container, and we need to build the survival kit. Because again, we don't really have a proper place for all these things we're building to go. We're kind of getting away with it because of the 10x. But most servers don't have 10x on, they might have 7 or 5. So we need to build a storage container here, and then we can actually move our survival kit over, which will be great. Then we'll basically be established, except for the fact that I have no proper place to sleep. But the gotcha with that is I cannot build a cryo chamber until I build a full-blown assembler. So we cannot do it with the current setup. I'm going to order a variety of things here, as I tend to do. Why does it say they're all red? It should not do that. So I'm just going to order a couple hundred comp, a couple hundred steel plate, a couple hundred interior plate, a little bit of girder, just because I know the wind turbines need it. Girder's not something you use a whole lot. Let's do like 20 display. You can build medical comp, but it requires silver, and you cannot refine silver with the basic refinery. So actually, I don't need the advanced. I don't need the regular assembler, but I do need the regular refinery in order to build the medical comp, which is what I need, by the way, to build the cryo chamber, which is so. Time check. We're doing good. That's probably, if I get those things built, we'll be in a pretty good place. I will order more computer because 100 isn't actually a lot. I'm still being pretty conservative here, but we're still operating on thin margins. Here's another aside to flying. Let me go outside here for a second. You're flying and you're all happy and everything's great, and then it starts acting weird and you're running into things and you're like, this is so broken and hard to control, and what is happening? And you ram into things and you're dying and you don't know why. It's because you hit Z. So if you look in the far side over there, the red warning thing, triangle, saying your Z dampers are off. So the Z dampers try to keep you in stasis. So if I press Z to turn them on, press X to fly, if I go up, I'm just let go of everything, I maintain a hover stasis. If I press sideways and let go of everything, again, goes to maintaining stasis. That's what the Z dampers are. There are times that you want to turn them off, but it's almost always in space. So that's just an aside. You might find yourself where your flying is behaving really erratically. You're panicking because you don't know why. It's because you bumped the Z button, probably by accident. So we need to get the other wind turbines up now that we have a battery. So we're going to come over here, right click to add this one to the build planner, and let's just knock both of those out at the same time. So I'm going to right click and add that. I could have clicked on the one twice. It doesn't know or care. I will middle click, and yeah, we're short of a bunch of things, but this gets us started. Start fussing with exactly what we need to finish these in a moment. Okay, so that needs everything, but this needs just, if we try to weld it, it'll show us girder is its main issue. Probably because we haven't gotten to the girder building yet. Go back to production, and whoops, we stopped. Why did we stop? We are out of iron ingot. Well, should have anticipated that. We will fly to our little iron node over here. I still am really on the hook to find a proper iron mine that is actually, and a cobalt mine. Both of those things are legit worrisome right now. And I died because I flew into the rock. This is the part where you get to see how to respawn. Oh, it's set to auto respawn. Turn that off. I forgot to catch that in the advanced setting menus. Auto respawn is bad. Turn that off. So that's what happened. We do have a tiny bit of hydrogen, so I will fly out to, where is it? Oh, it marks it, body location. Let's try not to fly into the only thing I could possibly hit out here and die. Good job, Expressman. Pro gamer move right there. And we will press I here on the inventory. What's going on here? I'm just going to double click. Just take each thing. Yes, I have 2 sets of hand tools now. Great. They're recyclable, actually, and that's actually pretty easy to do. This was the iron, right? Yeah. Pick up the things I already mined, and then let's see, grab our drill, and that's a weirdly perfect hole. Crouch a little bit. A lot of junky dirt in here too. Well, we are beggars if we are doing this in a whoops, I filled up. If we're doing this in an asteroid. Do this the hard way so I don't have to throw out all my stuff. I will drag that to the front of the line because that's the holdup. Choose through it really fast. It'll also enable production to continue immediately. If your refinery can outrun your assemblers, you can absolutely do that. Good deal. So to give you a perspective, you know, we're creeping up on 200 steel in our reserve, steel plate, and it's so cute. It's adorable because what we're going toward at the end of all this, maybe not in these videos, but my general arc of preparing a new settlement, establishment base is a million steel plate. And it will be hilariously, it'll be as easy as a yawn when, you know, I get a big refinery set up and a big auto miner fleet. Well, fleet really takes only 2 or 3, but and when that's going, and then you put the script on for automatic inventory management, which includes ordering inventory from the assemblers, then yeah, you're end gaming. So I'm actually going to bump this to the back of the line because I want these other things to process so I can finish a couple more wind turbines and get that battery charged. And then we'll call it a video. This is taking more than 3. But see, if I did a separate video just for like quick start, like without explainers, that'd almost be a fun video to do separately, just as fast as I possibly, just as optimized as I know how. It would go a little faster than what we're doing, but also, you'd see all the mining by hand. But, I could play it at like 3x or something like that, but just see how I get things going as fast as possible. So in the next video, let's see if we end this video with finishing the wind turbines. In the next video, we need to. Well, we'll make the storage container here in this video, but then we start thinking. Well, I keep adding to it. We got to add the survival kit too. Maybe I'll start the next video with that. So storage container, survival kit. Once we do that, we can do an on-base H2O2 gen. So we can fully decommission the drop pod. And then, so once we have like full life support systems on our little base here, we can start thinking about the real deal, like the proper assembler, which is huge, and the proper not the assembler is huge, it's just twice the size, but the proper refinery is huge. And then we got to start thinking about our mining machines, because all of this hand mining stuff is not great. Another thing I could do potentially sooner than later, maybe I'll start the next video, is upgrade my tools. It really is worth doing. I'm lazy sometimes and I go straight from basic to elite when I get my platinum and uranium. That's actually a disservice. It really is worthwhile upgrading your tools as they can. They just give you just a little more oompa for everything that you're doing constantly. So it's worth doing. And perhaps we'll start the next video with that too. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here. This thing's going to finish its build queue out, and then we'll do all the things I just said. And if we get as far as the beginning of a mining machine, we'll be doing good. So this has been Expressman. This was part 3 of Starting Out in Space Engineers, Winter 2020.